Customers say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. Well, my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris.
I'm Russ.
And this is episode 274.
274, back in the virtual nerd basement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for downloading us. Thanks for listening.
Hey, CD.
CD, good to see you. Good to see you, as always. Holy shit, hell of a week, huh?
Yeah, it really was.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. I had Friday off for my curling tournament, the last curling tournament of our season, the Motor City Open. It was a good time. Had friends from Wisconsin come in to play with us. Renee unfortunately wasn't able to play because of her surgery she had a couple weeks ago. She's still not able to do a lot of physical stuff, but she is on the mend and doing much better. But yeah, so we played well. We did wind up getting knocked out in the semifinals on Sunday, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Nobody was really upset about it because we were all sore and we had played 5 games in 3 days. So it was a rough weekend as far as that went, but it was a lot of fun. I could barely walk on Sunday. It was a little bit better today, and I'm better yesterday, and then I'm better today. But yeah, my legs were screaming at me because this was the first time that I've actually delivered a rock from the hack instead of using a stick since November. So it's been 6 months since I'd done that, and then I did it for 5 games over the couple of days, 3 games in 1 day. So it was definitely it was more exercise than I think I've done in probably the last year, but it was good. A good time. Cool. With that though, it meant that we did not play Tavern Nights last week, which I did miss.
Right.
But
'twas weird, but yeah. We will be coming back not this week, but next week.
Yep. Friday the 13th.
Correct.
So, how about you? How was your week?
It was okay. It was I'm just trying to think. Work has been busy, and it was we had to go downtown and fix the giant pinwheel we made that was at the at Campus Martius, and then for the weekend, and then Monday we had to take it down. And so that was a pain in the ass, but it works, and it works great, works brilliantly. It's really cool. We realize we don't have to put a motor in it because the wind catches it and it works great. So next time, if we choose to re-engineer it, we can leave the motor out, which makes it quite a bit heavier.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but there's that. The weekend was, I actually, Saturday night, I body painted again at a Noir leather event. It was my friend Bijou's birthday party. So she had a birthday party, and then it was also the year anniversary of Arbor, Arbor Leclave. He's the new owner of Noir Leather, and it's been a year since he bought the business, so it's kind of a celebratory party. So I did some cool body painting, and people are really having fun with it. Several people that had been to the previous party were like, yeah, you're here, and I want to get body painted again. I'm like, cool. So it's just hand brush painting, but it was still a lot of fun, and got to do that. And yeah, and so I talked to them some more about doing some more stuff later on, like some other events, and they've been doing these hotel parties, and they want me to maybe come in and there's a big hotel party. It's like swingers party, honestly, but they want me to like come and offer my airbrushing for it's a neon theme is the next one. So I'm gonna bring like black light UV paint, reflected black light body. I got this amazing black light body paint, so we'll talk about that. So could be cool, could be a bit of a revenue stream. And I had a couple more contacts about some body painting gigs, some other body painting gigs and stuff, and we're ramping up. We're really starting to ramp up work on the Indianapolis stuff and for the Indy 500. I mean, it's getting nuts. Ross and a couple other Ross Trombauer, who's I don't know if he listens, but I think he has listened to the show. But somebody just gave us, I don't know, maybe. No, that was just me. I thought somebody had given us shit, but I think I got both. I got channel points, just something came out. So anyway, so several artists have come back to work. And so we're really starting to ramp up on stuff. Yeah. And yeah, so that's about it. Stella's leaving on Thursday morning to go to Florida for a couple of days for her graduation. Okay. And so I will be Stella-less for the weekend. And going to see Doctor Strange tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to see it on.
And you're going to see it on Thursday, right?
Yep. I'll move you up a little. There we go. Oops. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's actually, I think, going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, dude. It's okay. I'm so excited for this movie. Let's talk about it brief. Well, you know what? Let's talk about it in a minute, because I think before we get into the fun stuff, we really got to address something today. And before we get into like what are we drinking and stuff, today it was made very
that's
clear.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The internet exploded today, and I have a fresh perspective on it because I just started a Twitter page, and so we can talk about that too.
Welcome to the Twitterverse.
Yeah. So today it was made clear that there is on the docket for the Supreme Court. It was leaked that there was an opinion file or something made, which essentially states that
one of the justices writes it, and it's based on opinions from, I think all the justices have input into it.
Right. That they are going to be overturning Roe v. Wade.
They are set as a 5-4 right now to
overturn. Right. Yeah. It's like 5 of the judges. Now, what they're saying too is that 3 of the judges, when pressed, the 3 newer judges that were put in during the Trump administration, during the Republican and or conservative judges, had all stated that they were willing to support Roe v. Wade and whatnot, and a woman's right to choose and that kind of thing. And all 3 of those judges are of those 5. So they lied. They lied to the American public.
Well, we knew that what's her name, the one that they pushed through so quickly at the end of Trump's thing, that she was going to do that because she was known for being against abortion anyway, and everyone figured Kavanaugh would too. Right,
but it was still, like I said, there was several. I saw a meme today that showed quotes of them all saying that they would, all 3 of them saying that they would support continuing Roe v. Wade, and they haven't. And they, like I said, they're turning tail on that. So they lied. They lied to the American public. They lied to the people of the United States, and that's pissing me off. I want to go on record.
Yes, CD, you're right. The hardcore Christian voting bloc is huge, and they produce the
Yep.
promised Supreme Court judges, and there you go.
Yep,
And
you're
that's
absolutely
that's
right.
exactly what the GOP. You're right. The GOP has nothing to run on if they do overturn it, though.
Right. So I want us to go on record to say that we are fully in support of a woman's right to choose here at Nerds with Alcohol, and anybody involved with Nerds with Alcohol. That it is not the government's business as to how a woman decides to handle her pregnancy, whether she wants to end it or not. And this entire situation is complete and utter horseshit. And I'm scared for our country. I'm scared for my friends. I'm scared for the people that I know that are in situations that or that can be put. I'm scared for all of the women I know, and that are of that this could happen to, that could potentially get pregnant with a child that they don't want or can't support. So everybody that's listening, everybody that listens to our show, please get out there and vote and make your voices heard, because this is extremely important. I never thought in my life that we would see this day, that we would see something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Roe v. Wade was passed in like 73, I think.
72, I think, something like that.
So right before I was born. And so the entirety of my life, it has been a thing. And I do remember how much people talk about how it was a major win for women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's potentially going to be overturned.
You're right. 73, so, January 2nd, 22nd, 2073.
So it's just frightening. It's frightening. I mean, there are people that have said that if this happens, the bill that federally legalized gay marriage or the law that federally legalized gay marriage could be next. Mm-hmm. All of these things. I mean, safe. It's like, if
they don't agree with you, then they can change it.
They're just rolling back all of the progress that has been made in this country for the last 50 years. So it's like, what do they want? They want us to go back to the 50s.
That's what Trump wants.
Yeah. So I've always said that I love this country and I wouldn't want to leave it. But if it keeps up like this, I might be one of those people that packs everything up and moves to Canada, because, or tries to move to Canada, because this is scary. This is scary to me, that this could happen in our lifetimes. I mean, I thought we were moving forward and we're not.
We need to keep religion out of politics. That's the main thing. There's a reason that the founding fathers wanted a separation of church and state. Exactly.
And I believe CD is correct. The hypocrisy in politics, because that's the thing. They want us to have babies, but they're not willing to give us the resources to help care for those babies. They're like, support for single mothers and for mothers is at an all-time low. From what a friend of mine said, that there's an actual shortage of formula right now. All kinds of things like that. I mean, federal programs that help single moms, that women that will end up having to have these children if it gets to the point that they can't have they can't have an abortion. Shit's scary, man. It's Handmaid's Tale.
Well, my concern too is without legal abortions, there'll
be illegal ones.
Right. We're going to go back to the women dying because they're doing the coat hanger thing and stuff like that again, because they don't have a choice. Yeah.
Exactly.
Old rich white men need to stay the hell out of women's health choices.
Because that's the thing, rich women will be able to handle it because they'll fly somewhere else. They'll go someplace that will say that says, abortion is fine here. They'll go to, although California has stated, oh no, this is, And several other states have said.
Whitmer said she's going to
Whitmer.
fight to make sure that Michigan stays.
Absolutely. So other people, people will be flying to places where they can. What about all those women that can't?
Because that's the thing. Overturning this won't actually eliminate abortion. It will make it so that the states can decide.
Right. And that's frightening. So, and because of that, that means at any point you could get, it could be legal in Michigan for 20 years, or then we could get a governor in here that decides, nope. I don't like what Whitmer did.
Yeah, and as long as he's got the backing of the
people.
Well, and the state, the Congress and Senate, he can do it.
Right.
He or she could do it.
That's correct. So it's scary. So guys, pay attention. If there's ever a reason for Gen Z to get out there and the zillennials and stuff, the millennials, whatever you want to call them, get out there and vote these conservative fuckheads out. It's now.
This year is going to be huge. This year, the vote,
because it's midterm elections.
Yeah, it is. It's midterm elections. This will decide who controls the Senate. It's going to decide who controls the House, and it's going to. There's a lot of governors that are up for re-election as well. Whitmer's one of them. And while I don't really necessarily agree with everything for her, and I don't think she's the greatest, the other choices aren't better. They're even worse. So.
Exactly. So let's move on.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote, man. Get out and vote. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave.
Ireland keeps looking better and better.
I hear Costa Rica is amazing. I could sell my house and live, probably, sell my house, probably sell my comic book collection, and live in Costa Rica pretty comfortably, probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard Costa Rica is just gorgeous.
It's spectacular. They've got great infrastructure. It's always nice. It's always warm.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a banana republic. That you don't have as many problems with the Central American kind of scariness that we all kind of grew up with. Fuck, man, or just move to fucking Toronto. I don't know, man.
Toronto's cold though, dude.
It is. I don't want to move. Well, it's not any colder than here, thankfully.
Yeah, it is. It's right on the lake, and the wind comes in off the lake.
Well,
I've been there. Sure. I've been there in the winter. It's fucking cold.
Sure, yeah, but what I mean is it's not that much different from Michigan. It's not Alaska,
Alaska's actually warmer than us in a lot of places, especially along the coast. Unless you get up to Nome and shit.
It's Alaska though. It's like 3 months. 3 months of weather that you don't have to wear a jacket in, and the 9 months that you have to. So,
Vancouver's kind of nice.
So yeah, Vancouver. I've heard Vancouver's very nice too. So, plus I'd have early access to Letterkenny. So we should move on.
Yes.
What are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a beer that I believe Rich brought over for gaming a while back, and there was one left. It's another Against the Grain brewery product, which is out of my old town of Louisville, Kentucky. Very good brewery. It is called 35K. It is a stout, and there's the logo. Against the Grain does crazy art on their cans, so that's what they're known for. Russ, you need to look up and see the can. So.
Oh, I'm looking. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool, man.
But yeah, this 35K, it says, "Wiggity woo, we're putting in a swimming pool. And if there's enough left over, we're going to fly you all down here to help us dedicate it. This is not your typical Jelly of the Month Club milk stout. This stout is silky smooth and sweet, and it's worth the $35,000, but you can only have a little because the rest is ours." It is 7% ABV, and I actually missed this on the back. It says to drink it at 48 degrees and drink from the can.
Oh, okay.
Which is rare that they tell you to actually drink from the can, because usually you want the notes. So this is a milk stout. Like most, it is dark. Has a kind of a light brown head. Not a lot of it. It smells like a beer, like a stout. It doesn't not really hops or anything. I'm not even sure what I'm actually smelling here. I guess it's the roasted notes. I'm gonna take another sip. It's very sweet.
Okay.
It has a lot of chocolate flavors. It is very smooth. I will say that. And actually, the chocolate just keeps building at the end. This is really good. This is kind of like it's almost like chocolate milk because it has that smoothness.
Oh, that's wild.
Or really,
it's always wild when you say that to me because because beer, I just don't think chocolate milk with beer,
well, it's like a dark chocolate milk too. So it's not like like a Hershey's chocolate milk. This is more like if you put like Ghirardelli's dark chocolate into milk and mixed it up and drank it. I like this. This is actually pretty damn good. I don't drink a lot of stouts, especially not once we get into summer. But I've started doing more of them, and this one's good. I would give this. I'd say this is probably 4 bottle caps. This is really good. I like this. So if you can find it, 35K by Against the Grain. It's got the 35K there on the side. So yeah, definitely check it out. What about you?
Alrighty. Well, I'm having another one of these Ace Pineapple Craft Ciders. It's just really delicious. I mean, I gotta say, because we had talked about finding a good pineapple cider, and this one, I gotta say, I think it's my favorite. I mean, I really like Rainbow Seeker, but Rainbow Seeker also it's that basil. I think it's basil, right?
Yeah.
It's pineapple and basil, which is a good combination. But this one is just pure pineapple, and it's really an excellent cider. It's sweet, but it's not excessively sweet. It's not like one of those, I mean, I feel like I'm drinking pineapple juice, but at the same time, it's not overwhelming me with it. So, it's really great. So, Ace Pineapple Craft Cider. I think I have reviewed it twice in a row now because last week I didn't drink, but it's just really, really great stuff. Highly recommend it. Ace has got some great products. Honestly, we've got a couple of really fantastic ciders out of California. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. So, what did you had? You had I had Ace Pineapple, and you had
35K.
35K.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. So we should move into it. We got a few things to talk about tonight.
Well, I finished He-Man Revelations today,
which is fantastic. I'm so glad.
I finally went back to it and started watching it again. Next on the list is to get back into and finish or catch up with Young Justice, I think. But He-Man Revelations was the one. Now that I'm working from home, I realized I can watch stuff at lunch really easily. I just pull it up on my computer. I just swing over from one computer to the other and go, I can sit here and eat my lunch and watch a show. I don't have to go downstairs and boot everything up and
for sure
and all that. So especially if it's not one I want to see on a bigger screen.
Right.
I'm like, I'll check it out. Oh, no, you know what? Dragon Ball Z He-Man. Yeah. That's
yeah. Instead of Kami, it's by the power of grace. Yeah.
It's Super Saiyan He-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, I thought it was really good. I actually enjoyed the story. I wasn't crazy about some of it, but I mean, like, I can't believe they killed off Panther.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer, Panther. See ya, dude.
Evelyn was badass. And then there was the whole redemption arc thing. But
I loved how what they did with Evelyn, making her, kind of, it was an entire redemption story arc with her, and I thought that was really cool.
Going into the abuses she suffered as a child, and
then again at the hands of Skeletor.
and I'm like, holy shit, really? You're getting into the cannibalism of parents eating their children in this?
Yeah,
Holy shit, that went dark.
It went really dark. Fucking dark.
But yet it still had the cheesy ass lines like from back in the 80s.
Well, that's one of the things that I loved about the show, is that it was a direct continuation of that show. Just more mature.
Mm-hmm.
It grew up with us, and I mean, even Orko was cooler, and the whole.
Well, I was surprised when they killed him off in the first part.
Right.
And then I was glad to see them bring him back in the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, his whole interaction with Evelyn and their time in like the afterlife or whatever it was,
mm-hmm.
and I gotta watch it again. It was so good. But it was just, I mean, it was masterful with their storytelling. And stuff.
And talking about getting dark too is Skeletor destroying Preternia.
Yeah, destroying the afterlife.
Destroying their heaven.
Yeah. Holy shit, where do you go from there? And then I loved, but I also loved some of the callbacks too, like when he gives himself up and like meets them at the door and stuff, and he's like, well, are you going to invite me in, you royal boob?
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, because he said that in the old show. At one point he called King Randor as, come in, King Randor, you royal boob. I'm just like, oh my God, it's awesome. But I mean, and honestly, the voice cast was just spectacularly good. They did such a great job. Dietrich Bader as King Randor, and who's normally known for doing very comedic stuff,
mm-hmm.
and it was a very serious role for him. It was Alicia Silverstone played Queen Marlena, and I mean, she even did the whole "as if" line at one point, because that was she was a line she was famous for from Clueless.
Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila.
Yeah, I mean, holy crap! I mean, it was really great. He-Man coming back, and I'm glad they did more with He-Man and Adam in the second part, because a lot of the complaints were in the first part of this. Well, if there's this Masters of the Universe, there's no He-Man. Where the fuck is He-Man? And I'm glad that they did. The second half did feature him more, but I'm glad that he wasn't the only character they concentrated on, because they built so much up with Tila and Evelyn.
And that's the thing, it became more about Tila. This whole story was more about Tila and Evelyn than it was about He-Man and Skeletor.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what people didn't like, was that, well, right. I want to see He-Man. I don't want to see the girls.
A lot of the old school fans were like, oh, I want to see He-Man. What's up with this? I liked how Orko came back and at the one point, and it was just it was a show about empowerment too.
Yes, particularly female empowerment. And them coming into their own, like Tila coming into her own, and Evelyn coming into her own and becoming their own person and not being controlled by anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just overall, a really, really fantastic time. And man, I had so much fun doing it with that show. And honestly, the other thing that was really great was the fact that it was. I mean, like, the artwork was really great too. I mean, everything was fantastic on the show. Like the character designs, how they updated the character designs, and oh man, Man at Arms and his, like, what he did and how he, how his story arc finished up, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing, and I really look forward to seeing what they're going to do next and how they're going to change things and do things.
Yeah, well, and then they introduced the new character. I forget her name, but the one that teamed up with Tila.
Yeah, that was really great. What else? have to watch it again. I did like how they left it wide open for a sequel. Like, and with the end where it's like Hordak at the end. I was like, holy shit. You know, they teased Hordak. And I'm like, well, does that mean we're going to see She-Ra later too?
Mm.
You know, a different version of She-Ra. So that could be fucking badass.
Yeah. Hey, Ghost. Yeah, I agree.
What's Dan? What's up?
He just said that I just missed the episodic format. I wish cartoons had more liberty to do self-contained episodes instead of doing long arcs. The first episode felt like the old show of all flamboyant glee, which it really did. The first episode was it was flat out 80s.
Exactly. Oh, very much so.
Yeah, camp, really. And I agree. I think part of the reason that they don't do the episodic shows anymore is so much in a lot of these is because they have limited runs. Because animation has gotten to be so expensive. Yeah. And they can't do 20 episodes, so they have these stories that they want to do, and they do them in 6 to 12 episodes, and that's it.
Yeah, I like it. I see. I kind of like. I do like the long story arcs though, and I think it's viewed as a lot more mature storytelling. But I also would like the occasional, essentially throwaway episode that is just very self-contained. You know, that's kind of what we used to see. That's what we saw. We're seeing a lot of in the later, like Star Trek shows. Like DS9 was very overall story arc, occasional self-contained episodes, or at the very least there were somewhat semi self-contained, but there were elements of that overarching story. And
well, but again, you're talking about a show that had 20 plus episodes in a season.
Correct.
And I was going to bring up Clone Wars. Same thing. They had 22 to 24 episodes in a season, and you would have throwaway episodes inside.
Same thing with
that weren't really moving the overall storyline, which is why there's actually a way that you can watch. There's a whole list out there that you can watch where you can skip all those filler episodes that are fucking Jar Jar doing his bullshit, dumb shit.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, it's the same kind of thing we were talking about with Young Justice. You were saying that's next on your list to get caught up on. And I am almost caught up there. I haven't watched the latest episode. There's one, the newest episode just came out. But it's genius. It's so good. And they are essentially, there's 20 plus episodes in a season. They're doing a great job. And for the most part, they're doing what I was talking about, an overarching storyline with a few episodes that are like, they're not quite as tied in, but there are some elements. Like you'll miss some plot points if you don't watch it, you know, but at the same time, it's a little more of it's not quite as important as some of the other episodes. And I also like the fact that on Young Justice, they are doing several different story arcs that are all coming together.
Yeah.
And particularly in this season, they've done that.
Yeah, I think I've got like 2 episodes left from the first half of this season. And then I've got everything that's come out since like a month and a half ago, whenever it was it started coming out.
So, well, that's cool. They're going to New Genesis, and there was in the second story arc, there's a big deal with Atlantis. So they're in Atlantis for like 4 or 5 episodes. And
on the first one, they were on Mars, and
the first arc had a lot of stuff to do with Mars, and I think there was stuff with
Mars,
yeah. I gotta say, I love it. I love that, all of that shit that they're doing. As much as I wish it was set in the like mainstream DC universe, I like that it's its own thing.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Monster of the Week type thing. Supernatural was great at doing that, as well as moving the storyline along. Yeah. I'm only in the 4th season of Supernatural right now, and that was the same thing. It was Monster of the Week, moving along. Actually, Renee and I need to get. We're trying to keep up on all these shows, and we haven't even been able to get back to Expanse as much as we wanted to yet. We're still in the middle of season 1 of that, and we want to get back to watching that as well. but we've been trying to keep up on Moon Knight, which we're still an episode behind. We're trying to keep up on The Rookie, on the End Game, all those shows. Plus now, I mean, once Moon Knight ends this week, I think, and then in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we get Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yes.
So
actually, I have it right here. It is May
27th.
27th. It was originally scheduled to land on the 25th, but they pushed it 2 days.
It also is getting the lowest rating of any Star Wars show to date. Star Wars or Marvel show to date.
What do you mean lowest rating? Like
it's 9+.
It?
No, it's rating. You know, I like the TV shows have ratings. It's youth 9+.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be very family friendly.
Yes.
Well, I'm not mad at that. I mean, the images that I've seen look really great.
Oh,
and
okay, that's good to know, Ghost Hand.
What's that?
He said some advice. Supernatural really goes off the rails after season 5. Season 5 is actually a great stopping point.
Well, I mean, it's because they keep having apocalypses and they keep defeating the apocalypse, thinking the show is going to end, and then they kept getting it pushed with more seasons, and they're like, okay, here's 10 seasons. I think we're going to beat this apocalypse and whatever, and then they get pushed again. So that's what I hear. It's like it definitely changes a lot over the years.
But I know Matt Shepard joins, I think, in like season 5, and he goes to like season 12, and I love him as an actor, so seeing him on there, I think would be kind of cool. Because I just listened to his show, his episode of Inside of You with
which one is that?
Matt Shepard. You would recognize him if you see him. He played Badger in Firefly.
Oh, Badger. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I listened to that episode too.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great. He's a great interview too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's one of those character actors that you've seen a lot of shit, particularly genre television like this, and like Supernatural or the CW or whatever. They did announce that they canceled 2 CW shows. They canceled Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman. Now, Batwoman was not a big surprise because it just wasn't doing very well in the ratings. It got 3 seasons. But Legends of Tomorrow apparently went 7. It had 7 seasons, and it could have kept going. But I think the people that are on the show are kind of like, well, we did 7. Yeah, it's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
For a genre television show, that's pretty damn good.
Actually, any TV show is, you get 7 seasons, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah,
for sure. It's one of those where, like, even Buffy got 7, and I was like, when it ended, I was like, damn, I really want more, but I'm like, it's been 7 seasons. But when I think about it, I'm like, it's only been 7 seasons. You know, it's one of those things where it's you haven't gotten enough yet. Buffy's another one I think that season 5 would have been a great place to stop, because they did kind of jump the shark after that. There were some great episodes, but that season 5, they were starting to jump that shark as it was.
Well, when they
switched networks.
Right. When they brought in Dawn.
That was season 5.
5, right. That was where a lot of people feel like, where they brought Buffy back from the dead.
Yep, that was 6.
There were a lot of things that people were like, I don't know, do we really need another season of this show? So, at the same time, I would have liked Angel to continue.
Yes.
Like Angel got cut short. You know, they should have kept going.
Yeah, Angel got 5. At least Angel got 5 seasons, which is still pretty good.
They did, and they almost didn't get that 5th season. Spike was what saved them. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I listened to that interview too, and James Marsters is awesome. I really like him, and I've heard nothing but good things about him, like how his interaction is with fans and things like that too.
Yeah, exactly. So what were you saying? So looking forward to season 2 of Master of the Universe. Then I would assume.
Yeah, I'll watch it. That's for sure.
I think Master of the Universe is one of those shows that, and I've said this before, it's up there with Invincible and Legend of Vox Machina and Young Justice. It is taking the art of animation, adult themed animation, and really doing some amazing things with it. It's one of those best examples. So I cannot wait to see more of it, and particularly a show. What really boggled my mind too was taking a show that really was built for children.
It was built to sell toys.
Yes, absolutely. But it was built for kids 7 to fucking 12, and 12 is a stretch. And they took it and they made it cool again. They made it cool for people our age, and they didn't really make that many changes because, like I said, they just matured it, and it was. I think it was
really good. CD said now it's built to sell subs. But yeah, and CD, I agree with you. Walking Dead definitely. I was tired of. I got tired of Walking Dead after 3 seasons. That's when I stopped because it was the same thing over and over and over again. It just.
Yeah, I think. Well, with Walking Dead too, it's like you got to take a break after a while. You can't keep. I mean, it
is not a show I could binge.
Particularly if you're binging it, right? Yeah, you get like. You binge like half a season, then you got to take a break for a couple weeks, and then you can come back to it.
Well, that was the way Renee was when she read the graphic novel, because she actually read the bound edition, and she was sitting there reading it, and she'd read it for a while, and she'd get up, and she's like, okay, I need a break. Let's watch a comedy. Can we put something on that I can laugh at, because holy shit, this is dark shit.
Yeah, it is. It's really really dark. It's really depressing. There's only so much you can experience in that show before you're like, all right, I'm gonna eat a bullet, because it's like, Jesus Christ. I keep getting like invitations for marches and stuff now to defend Roe v. Wade and everything. As much as I am interested in those kind of things, I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to attend them. I keep getting things on my phone and things on my computer here. Jesus Christ. So anyway, we should probably move on.
Yes.
Cartoons are great. Gotta love cartoons. Let's see. Well, okay. So real quick, Stella found this book at the bookstore the other day. We've made it very clear on this show that we're big fans of role-playing games, particularly Dungeons & Dragons.
We play it right here on Twitch every other Friday night.
Every other Friday night. Next show is on the 13th. Tavern Nights, join us, please. Anyway, so Stella found this book at, she works at Barnes & Noble, and she texted me this picture of it, and a couple of pictures of the inside, and went, do you want it? And I was like, I couldn't do. And so she bought it for me. And it is called The ABCs of D&D. And it is fucking adorable. It is the cutest damn thing. And it says on the back, explore the world of role-playing games with the magical power of a children's book. Through illustration and rhyme, The ABCs of D&D demonstrates the joy and wonder found in games that encourage problem-solving and exercising a child's creativity. So,
CD wants to know the first word and the last.
I'm going to read the whole goddamn thing.
No, we're not going to read the whole goddamn thing.
It's not that long.
Dude, this is not 26. A reading show. We talk about shit. You read enough articles off the internet rather than summarizing. We don't need to read the entire book.
I'm going to read a couple. A is for adventure. Our journey has begun. And I like it how the art is obviously little kids, and they're all done up. And what they do is they put like their imaginations are working overtime.
Well, yeah, you can see that they're actually playing the game right there in the.
Yeah, B is for a book, the source of all our fun. C
which I also like that it's the big demon thing from the original Player's Handbook.
Yeah, there's a lot of references, and if you look, it's actually a scan of the book.
Oh, nice!
It's actually the cover of The Lost Mind of Fandelver. But yeah, there's like, here's a beholder, and that's a griffin, and like a goblin and stuff like that. C is for creatures of every shape and size. D is for dungeon master, who helps our imaginations rise. And you've got like a dragonborn holding the DM's guide, and there's the actual like the DM screen there. And I love that, like, there's looks like a Juan T delivering pizza right there. It's on the side there. And E is for enchantment, magic that helps us do our best. F is for friendship, the best rewards for quests. I mean, it goes on and on. G is for goblins. H is for heroes. The art is really amazing, really cute. I is for imagination. What's your favorite tale? So then it's got like, yeah, this is a good one. It's got them kind of looking as to what they dream that they would be. It's even got, oh, okay, this one's a good one too. This kid's he's wearing face paint and horns. He's obviously a tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
So, just really great stuff. K is for kingdom. Let's explore, discover, and roam. So it's got the kids are all in their like homemade little costumes, but the backgrounds are their imagination, and it's just the cutest. So highly recommend this. Pick it up, guys, if you can if you've got kids.
So you got to give us the last one though, because CD asked for that one.
Okay, one of my favorites is this one right here. O is for owl bear, which you won't find in a zoo. Yeah, and whoever wrote and drew this book. Oh, R is for Ravenloft. Look, it's Strahd. Isn't that great? The last one. Let's see. V is for villains. Y is for yes. Z is for zeal. The spirit to save the day. Z is for zeal.
Not zombies?
Not zombies. You would have thought it. The writer was Ivan Van Norman. The art is by Caleb Cleveland, and it's really fantastic. Wizards of the Coast, Hunters Entertainment. You can get this at you can order it from D&D on D&D DungeonsandDragons.com. But it's $15 retail, and it's really tiny little thing, but it is so damn cute.
Need to get that for Kenna.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, if you've got a kid in your life that likes and is interested in D&D, you should show the guys your nieces and nephews should take a look at this. Pete and Rich, I'll bring it to gaming next time. Rich can take a look at it for their kidlets.
Mm-hmm. Theirs might be a little too old for that.
They might be too old, or this.
Yeah, because that seems more geared to like 5, 6-year-olds.
Oh yeah, it's definitely geared towards ABCs.
Yeah.
Come on, but it's so fucking cute. I think even the kids will adore it.
Rich's youngest might be right on the edge of that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she's the one that I think she's the one that drew the Beholder balloon once, and it's his oldest that drew the picture of Klimbrum.
Oh yeah,
our first and only piece of fan art.
That's right. It's up on the wall downstairs. It's fantastic. What else? So we should move on. What's next?
Well, we had some passings.
Yes, we
that
did.
we're going to talk about. Naomi Judd.
Naomi Judd. She passed. She actually committed suicide.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that it was another victim of mental illness.
Yeah, she was 77. Actually, I think that's what it was. So she was quite old, but pretty old. Not quite old. 77 is an old person, sure. But yeah, I heard she passed away. She committed suicide. I don't know how.
Yeah,
I would imagine pills or something. But yeah, she was very open about her struggles with mental health. So that's rough. But sad.
Yeah.
I was never a big country music fan. But it's still, I was a fan of her daughter, Ashley Judd, as an actress. And it's just kind of, I guess it's sad to hear that she ended her career on that kind of a note,
Yeah. I wasn't really big into the Judd's music. I did like some of the country stuff, and I did like
Mhm.
some of the stuff that they did, but I was never a huge fan of theirs. But I mean, she was a huge star in country music.
Yeah, she was fucking immense. I mean, the Judds were, particularly in the 90s, the
Mm.
Judds were a massive like act.
Yep.
You know, they were very, very big. And I don't, like I said, I never really got into country music and never have been into country music. But the Judds were one of those bands or those groups that actually crossed over, you know, into like mainstream music and stuff, or pop music for
Yeah.
for a few songs.
And then the another death that we had was Rick Parnell, who is best known, or probably best known as the drummer of Spinal Tap.
See, I thought it was bullshit when I first saw that because, you know, in the movie, the joke was the drummer always, you know, died of weird circumstances or
Mhm.
like accidents on stage or things like that. And then, but then the guy that was actually the drummer in the movie passed away. So
Yeah, I think he was like 70.
it's too bad. That's sad. But yeah, he was in his 70s also, which makes me, you know, fear for the other guys in Spinal Tap because
Yeah.
they're probably getting old too.
Well, yeah, they're all old. I mean, that movie was mid 80s, early 80s.
1981 or something like that. I think it was.
Was it
pretty
that early?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. I think it might have been. I might be a little mistaken, but
I thought it was more like 83 or 84.
it could be
84.
84. Okay, so a couple years off. Also passing away this week was legendary comic book artist Neil Adams. He died. He was also in his mid 70s, and I believe he was 74. I think. I'm saying a lot tonight. I don't know why. It as a comic fan, that was a tough one, largely because he was very influential in comic books and in how comic books were, like he revolutionized the way comic books were drawn in the 70s and the late 60s, early 70s. He was responsible for reinvigorating Batman, taking him out of the campiness of the 60s and into the darker kind of returning him to his darker origins in you know, in the 70s and whatnot. He's the guy that, you know, introduced Ra's al Ghul and Talia, and like really, and then on top of it too, his art itself was really special because really he was 80 actually. He died at 80. It was some of the earlier art that was very cinematic, the way he depicted the panels in a way that was very like setting up a scene. He was the guy that drew Hard Traveling Heroes, which showed the Green Arrow and Green Lantern crossover, where Green Arrow basically takes Green Lantern on like a cross country kind of jaunt to show him the state of the country. It's a big blow, but at the same time, he was 80 years old. You know, this isn't like some dying as a young man. He died on April 28th of complications from sepsis. So unfortunately, that sucks because that sounds like it's a kind of a shitty way to go. It says his earliest comic book work was a single panel for Archie's superhero comic The Fly, which impressed editors and was taken from a sample page he turned in while seeking work. He did a lot of non-superhero work until, and then eventually, after stints on several other comic strips, Adams eventually found his way to horror comics with Warren Publishing before finally landing at DC, where he first drew numerous war comics, as well as contributing to the celebrity licensed comics, The Adventures of Jerry Lewis and The Adventures of Bob Hope. Then in 1967, Adams took on art duties for Strange Adventures, specifically the stories of the character Dead Man. Adams' first breakout artistic hit in 1969, he started working for Marvel alongside DC, penciling Uncanny X-Men and creating new costumes for the team. So he was also influential that way as well. But also in 1969, Adams launched the gig that would come to define his career, drawing his first Batman story alongside writer Denny O'Neil, with the pair going on to create numerous Batman stories and characters that resonate to this day, including Ra's al Ghul. Adams and O'Neil also moved Batman away from the campy silliness of the 50s adventures and the subsequent Adam West starring Batman TV show, revitalizing the hero and putting him back in the shadows as an urban vigilante. It talks about the Green Lantern, Green Arrow crossover. He was the artist that showed, like, that when they dealt with the Green Arrow's sidekick Speedy, finding out that he was a heroin junkie, and the guy was very influential. So if you guys are really interested, Neil Adams, check him out. Google some of his work. The artwork that he did was groundbreaking at the time. So raising a glass, should raise a glass to Naomi Judd.
Well, there's one other one actually that I also saw, and this is one that I saw it and I went, oh shit. It was Plastercaster.
Oh yeah. Cynthia Plastercaster. She passed away too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Just a couple weeks ago.
For those of you guys who don't know Cynthia Plastercaster, she was that was her kind of, for lack of a better term, her scene name. She was one of the most famous groupies to ever.
She was a recovering groupie, is the way she described herself.
Yeah, recovering groupie. She was a groupie that followed around rock stars in the 60s and 70s, and I think even into the 80s. And
she was doing it all the way into the 2000s.
Was she really?
Yeah.
She was.
I mean, she wasn't following them around, but she was doing the casts.
Right. Yeah. Well, then she was more established as an artist.
Yeah.
But she was known for taking plaster casts of rock stars' penises and collecting them. That was her thing.
In 2000, she actually started doing female artists' breasts as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's fucking nuts, man.
I know when I first heard about her was actually an interview with Gene Simmons. He was talking about having his done.
I don't. That's fine. That's somewhat disturbing because that's the other thing too. It's not like, I mean, I've seen pictures of some of these plaster busts she has of them, and they're not like, it's not like they're erect either. They're just like all these like plaster flaccid penises. It's really fucking nuts. But yeah, it's sad. So,
Yeah, what an odd place to step into the conversation.
Yeah. Who?
Dutch.
Oh, Dutch. Yeah. Hey, Dutch. We're talking about Cynthia Plastercaster.
Yeah.
She was the woman that used to make plaster castings of rock stars' cocks. Rock cocks.
Yep. So now we can raise a glass.
Yeah, now we can raise a glass to Neil Adams, famous comic book artist.
Yep.
Cynthia Plastercaster, famous
artist. We'll go with artist.
Naomi Judd, and what was the fourth one?
Rick Parnell.
And Rick Parnell. So cilantro. What a resume. Yeah. I agree.
So one of the things you were talking about was that Neil Adams brought Batman out of that campiness of the 60s. Did you see the video that I posted on Nerds with Alcohol?
Yes.
That was
funny thing is
that was fucking brilliant.
It's so good. My friend Dave actually sent me that. Like a couple of days before you posted it. And it was really funny. Guys, if you guys want to really check it out, it's really funny. Somebody took the Adam West Batman and basically digitally inserted him into the Batman, the most recent one.
It's actually the trailer, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's inserted him into the trailer, and it's really brilliant. Check it out. It's on Facebook, or it's on YouTube. You can check it out on YouTube, or just go to our Facebook page, and it is on there as well.
Yeah, fucking hilarious. Oh my god, Renee showed me. Oh wait, before we start watching this last night, before we watched Moon Knight, she's like, I meant to, I got to show you this, and she cast it to the TV, and I was like, holy shit, this is hilarious. I'm like, send me that
really
now. I need to get that up.
Really fucking funny. It's amazing what they can do. I mean, I say this all the time. It's amazing what they do with technology these days, and watching what they've done with computers.
Yeah.
For the last in our lifetime, what they can do. I saw a comparison of the original Lara Croft from the original Tomb Raider, and then what she looks like now, and it's incredible the distance that they've traveled. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, Renee actually heard the those guys that did the video on NPR. They were being interviewed about it. They said basically it was they loved the old Batman and they really liked the new one, but they had this idea and decided to do it as a side project, and like over the course of a week they worked on it like crazy when they had spare time and inserted them in there and then released it. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
And the Adam West Batman was not lame. He was a product of that time. And if anything,
and like you said, I mean, 60s Batman is rad.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, anybody that is like, oh, the 60s Batman, Adam West Batman sucked. No, it didn't. It was exactly what the Batman needed, what audiences wanted. It was what they expected. Now, and people are like, well, yeah, but it turned it away from what his origins were. Characters change over time. Superman isn't the character that he was when he first was created. Neither is Batman. Neither is any of those characters. They've all changed and adapted over time. And now am I glad that Batman is back to being a dark Avenger of the night and not, the character that Adam West portrayed? Absolutely. But I loved watching the Batman TV show when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
it was one of my favorite memories.
Growing up, I loved that show.
Absolutely. It was classic. It was fantastic. It was classic. It was fantastic.
But it was very much a product of the 60s.
And it was. But it was one of the most popular television shows on TV at the time. It was extremely popular, extremely successful, and probably could have gone longer if I think the people, the creators, were just like, yeah, we're done. And they made a lot of shows because they filmed.
It had I forget how many episodes it had.
Well, they were half-hour episodes.
Right.
They were presented as half-hour episodes, so that they could do 2 episodes. And I think they were shown twice a week, and that's why they would do it that way. It might not have been twice a week.
There were 120 episodes.
Yeah, I know Star Trek had 2 episodes a week in the first season. That's why
it actually only ran for just over 2 years.
What?
Batman.
It only ran for 2 years?
January 12th, 66 to March 14th, 68.
So 120 half-hour episodes.
Twice weekly during the first 2 seasons, and weekly for the third.
Wow. Okay. It had... That's the thing, too. Like, there were all of the various stars, all the people that played villains, they were some of the biggest... stars in Hollywood at the time too. They had huge stars that were on that show. Vincent Price was immense.
Well, we went through a few weeks ago. We went through the list of the Batman villains, that all the guest stars that were on there.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we did. It was great. So yeah, it's just it's such a great show. And I challenge anybody that says that was a bad show. No, it was campy. It was cheesy and silly at times, but it was not a bad show. Not at all.
You want to see bad Batman? Watch Batman and Robin.
Watch Batman and Robin. Absolutely. That is bad Batman.
Because that was Batman that wasn't... I think he was trying to play on the 60s style, but without the actual camp there, it didn't work. And without the pow and bam, which is what I was expecting to see in that movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so sorry, I interrupted though. But speaking of all of that, though, Free Comic Book Day is this Saturday.
Yeah, Free Comic Book Day is this Saturday. Thank the gods that it is returned. The last 2 seasons, last 2 years, it was more or less kind of shelved because of the pandemic. I mean, I think some of the shops were doing some things, but it wasn't. This is like the first year we've had like more of a big deal kind of thing. Both DC and Marvel and all of the big companies are putting out free books for everybody. DC and Marvel tend to put out books that are like previews or they're things that often can be like something that is it can lead into a big storyline. In fact, in this this year, one of the big things that they're doing an issue 0 to the Dark Crisis storyline that that's coming up this week in DC Comics. Dark Crisis is the storyline featuring the death of the Justice League, and it's gonna be a pretty big fucking deal. This whole storyline. Now, they have said that although the characters are dying in the Justice League comic, that doesn't mean that they're going to die in their individual comics. So it will be a little confusing with the storylines because they're not going to be crossing over as much, which I don't like. But at the same time, that means that I don't necessarily have to buy 30 extra books to get the whole which is quite often what happens with some of those big summer miniseries. So yeah, you guys are going to want to check that stuff out. Man, did I hear that in my headset or did you hear that too?
What?
I just got a Facebook notification on my computer.
No, I just heard it. You heard it. I didn't hear it.
Okay. Because I had my phone on silent and I think it still came through. So yeah, a lot of local comic shops are doing like a lot of cool things for the day. There's a lot of I'm going to be doing face painting at the comic shop I go to on Saturday. There's a lot of other kind of cool things that people will do and that the comic shops do. And I'm looking forward to it. It's a big day, you know. Mm-hmm. Some of the bigger shops really do it up too. Like they'll get a DJ and they'll have tunes spinning and they'll have performers come in and like all kinds of different performers like magicians and they turn it. Some of the bigger shops turn it into a big fucking big deal day. It's something else that's going on is of course tomorrow is one of the biggest days in nerddom. It is of course
Star Wars Day.
Star Wars Day, May the 4th, because of course May the 4th be with you always. And so there are a lot of Star Wars celebrations, a lot of big deals, a lot of things going on. In fact, this year we're seeing the return of one of the biggest Star Wars themed parties in all of Michigan and all of Detroit is Space Jam or Space Dive, excuse me, not Space Jam. Yeah. Space Dive at the Tangent Gallery here in Detroit. Space Jam is an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Space Dive is they turn the Tangent Gallery into the cantina, the Tatooine cantina, and they do a great job too turning it into that place. Mm-hmm. And it is a big...
I haven't been, but I've seen pictures and
I've been a couple times. It's not a cheap day. It's good. It's like $30 at the door to get in, but they have bands play and there's drink specials. It's more than that.
Hey, if Max Rebo ain't playing, I ain't coming.
I ain't going. Yeah, it's but yeah, that's a really cool thing. There's a lot of great costumes. I mean, people really do it up. My buddy David actually showed up one of the years. He went several nights, and one year he showed up in a Starfleet uniform. I was like, that's pretty awesome. Good on you, dude.
Like when Will Wheaton showed up at the
premiere,
at the Star Wars premiere, and then joined the guys at his Spock outfit, yeah, and walking through just. Yeah.
And they're like, Star Trek sucks. And he was like, what did he say? Like, kiss my tribble or something like that.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton is God. So anyway, the Tangent Gallery is doing stuff all weekend for it, both on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, I believe, too. So it's so if you can't make it out on a Wednesday night, you got to work, or Thursday night, Friday and Saturday is available as well. Tangent Gallery in Detroit, look it up. It's it's on Milwaukee, just south of Grand River, and it's pretty great. They've got a bunch of the people that own and run the place too. Put a bunch of like cool shit outside too. When the pandemic started, they wanted to put a bunch of other stuff out there too, so that they could do more things outside as well. And
it actually is. This Space Dive is actually costume required, isn't it?
It is costume required. Yeah, you can't get in. I mean, I don't think they're going to turn you away if you do. You got to do the bare minimum, I believe. So it's a pretty good time though. So
yeah, one of these days I'll have my Sith outfit all ready and I'll go down there.
If I go, I gotta like put some shit together and then paint my face at least so I look like an alien or whatever, because I don't really have a Star Wars outfit. I got a pirate costume. I got all kinds of Ren Fair garb. I got my ogre costume, but yeah, I don't really have a Star Wars.
Renee did a great Sith outfit that she put together.
I remember, yeah,
a few years ago, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So, what else? So, Tangent Gallery, Comic Book Day. We posted. We were taking out a video on it. One of the guys in one of our Discord groups put it up. But coming up on Roku, there's a new movie that's going to be premiering soon, and that I think that both of us, that all nerds appreciate on some level. It is the story. It's called Weird, and it is
it's weird,
very odd.
The Al Yankovic story.
Yeah, it's the Weird Al Yankovic story, but from what I understand, they take a lot of liberties with it.
I don't doubt it.
It's not like a biopic. It's supposed to be like his story, but also it is very silly and irreverent. And Daniel Radcliffe is playing Weird Al Yankovic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to be on the Roku channel, so if you don't have Roku, then you really won't be able to see it. I have a Roku, but it is not set up anywhere in my house because I have my PS5. I don't need a Roku to stream. But honestly, I mean, it's never been out of the box. My grandmother gave it to me, and she won it at a casino. Do you want this? I'm like, sure, Grandma, I'll take it. But I never set it up, so just kind of funny. But I'm really excited to see this. I don't know who else is in it. Do you know who else is in it?
Evan Rachel Wood.
Okay.
She's playing Madonna.
That's right. Yeah, she's playing Madonna. That's right.
Rainn Wilson's in it.
Okay. The biopic is loosely based on the 2010 Funny or Die sketch of the same name, which starred Aaron Paul as the parody singer. The sketch served as a fake trailer for a gritty biopic of Yankovic's life. I've seen this. I've seen it. Poking fun at the often overly dramatized nature of artist biopics. Because of his religious upbringing, Yankovic has stayed away from alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, and even using profanity, all things that are depicted in the sketch. In the real trailer, which can be viewed above, Radcliffe transforms into the parody singer, donning his trademark curly hair and glasses, various Hawaiian shirts, and even pulling out an accordion. There's also a scene where a shirtless Radcliffe drinks from a bottle of alcohol and spits it into the air, something Paul does in the Funny or Die sketch. This tells us that the film may be more than just loosely based on the sketch and could in fact be an overly dramatized biopic of the musician's life. You're right. Rainn Wilson makes a brief appearance in the trailer as radio personality Dr. Demento. And the last scene shows Radcliffe letting Evan Rachel Wood's Madonna into his mansion. The cast also includes Toby Huss, Julianne Nicholson, and Nick and Mary Yankovic, as well as James Preston Rogers as Hulk Hogan. I don't know who James Preston Rogers is. It's slated for a late 22 release, so we've got a while to see it, or a while maybe to find a way to see it. I'm hoping that eventually it'll at least go to like
James Preston Rogers is a huge man. I don't know what he's done.
The IMDb listing is almost empty. There's very little.
Oh, it looks like he's from Outlander. Oh, that's different Outlander though. Frontier, Pixels, The Righteous Gemstones.
Okay. Let's see that cast.
Leverage Redemption. But yeah, he's a big dude.
So I started something new this week. I started
he was the show Alphas for an episode.
Oh, okay.
As the big man. Sorry,
As the big man?
Yeah.
Just the big man?
Yeah, he was in Lost Girl. 1 episode or 2 episodes.
Oh, okay. What was he on Lost Girl?
Lucas, bodybuilder.
Okay. I'm trying to cast out. Let's see. Weird Al. Weird. I'm just getting the Weird Science.
Yeah.
Cast a weird.
There really isn't much else in there. Biker Robbie, Teenage Al, Cesario, Floor Manager, Hipster Teen. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot.
Toby Huss as Nick Yankovic, Julian Nicholson as Mary Yankovic.
Yep.
Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Oh, there it is. Okay. I couldn't find it.
Anyway.
Okay. So I started something new this week. I started the new Dune video game. Picked it up. It's early access on Steam. It's called Dune Spice Wars. It's a pretty cool new empire building game. It's not easy as well. I don't know if I can raise or lower the difficulty, but it is definitely a tough, kind of a tough game so far. I'm enjoying it though. It is also pretty cool though. So I'm looking forward to getting more into it and experiencing it. You can play as the Atreides, as the Harkonnen, as the Fremen, or as a smuggler faction. The graphics are nice, but they're not ridiculously over the top. It's not based on the depictions from the movie. This is more so, different artist rendition, but their own take. The game has its own take on it. So don't expect, Oscar Isaac and the as Duke Leto Atreides and the imagery. So, but it is pretty cool. It's like $30 for the early access game. It also, because it is in early access, it means that it is still in process of finishing it up, developing it, but it is completely playable. So I'm guessing they'll finish making, just making it basically. They'll make some changes to it as the game progresses. But these days, that's how all computer games are. That's how all games are. I mean, there's constant patching on console games and on computer games these days to make them right or finished.
Look at Cyberpunk. It was a fully released game when it came out.
It was not really playable on most systems until at least 3 months later.
Yeah.
It was probably, it came out in November, and it was probably by the end of by the time the year shifted before it finally was.
January was the first really
playable.
big patch. It was in early January, I think, when they came out with that first.
It got it to the point that it could actually be played on a PS4 without crashing or fucking up all the time.
Well, and then they had the, you would still run it. Like I ran into, even a couple months later, I ran into the game killing bug.
Right.
And so I had to wait for 2 weeks while they worked out a patch because they're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Now it is available on for the next gen systems, and they have said that we're probably going to see next year. We're going to see the new content patches or new content not patches,
the DLC
expansions, the DLC expansions.
Yeah, I will say it is much more playable now than it was.
Oh yeah, some people are saying it's honestly it's almost a whole new game now. You know, it's so much different from the original, from when it first came out. So much better. I haven't played it since I finished it, so I was kind of waiting until the DLC dropped. But I'm probably going to start up a new game in a little while. So yeah.
Yeah, I recently started a new one, but I've been playing so much Horizon that.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I don't know if I want to get into replaying a game, but I've got like half a dozen games that I really want to start. So I don't know. We'll see. I've got so many games to play, Chris.
Yep, I know.
So many games.
That's why I haven't gotten any other games for the PlayStation 5 yet, because there's no reason to, because they're just going to sit on my shelf. So, other than that,
so I found something here a little bit ago.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to bring up Moon Knight, but
yeah, let me bring this up real quick. I just want to, then we'll get into Moon Knight. So I found a listing on Newsarama and Games Radar actually of the 100 best TV shows of all time. Now I figured like maybe we could over several weeks go over this list, like maybe 10 or 20 of them at a time, just kind of real quick. I don't think not tonight because we're kind of starting to get to that point, but
we'll start looking at them next week.
Yeah, there's some really great ones. I mean, what's really cool is just to see, well, like honestly see how many of them we've seen, how many of them we've gotten into, and where they are placed on this top 100. Should be interesting to kind of figure that out. Like number 90, Babylon 5. Let's say, let's just start at the top. Number 100 is.
I thought we weren't going to do it tonight, dude.
No, I just want to mention, like number 100 is Freaks.
We're not going to do them tonight. Oh, and number 100 is this, and number 90 is this, and
you know what I mean. Just to kind of give you perspective of what they are. I mean, just seeing where they are all at. Like number 80 is The Walking Dead, and a lot of people think that that's one of the greatest shows ever. I'm like, I don't know if that's. I don't agree with that, but it could just. I think it would be kind of cool just to kind of like discuss where they are and why. So, and it's shows from everywhere, from streaming, from networks, from all kinds of stuff. So we'll start going into that maybe next week. I think it's a good kind of.
Yeah, we can talk about a few of them at least. So I am not caught up on Moon Knight. I still have one episode to go.
Okay.
I watched 4, but I did not watch 5. And the reason, and I was telling you this before the show, that Renee and I found that we can't watch Moon Knight unless it's dark out, and that has nothing to do with.
Do find that to be really funny, but no,
exactly. But the reasoning is because we have our living rooms in our basement, and we have windows and stuff, and the glare is normally not a big deal on the TV, and this is something I think that Marvel did wrong in this show, and in that. Some of the scenes are just too fucking dark. Okay. I understand they want to, they're in a dark room and stuff like that. That's fine. Every other show, you can get the idea that they're in a dark room while the actors are still lit, and you can still see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
This, it's like flat out pitch black. You can't see jack shit half the time if there's any light in your room.
I don't know, man.
And episode 4 was so fucking dark.
It is pretty dark.
Because they're in the caverns and there
is a lot of night shoots and stuff too, because it is Moon Knight. I mean, he's definitely a vigilante that comes out at night.
And most of those are fine, but even in this one, when she was out in the desert and that other truck comes up and they're trying to escape from him, and she's hiding behind the truck, and Mark slash
Steven.
yeah, well, this is Mark slash Steven slash is laying there, and they're like, he looks like he's dead, when she's hiding behind the truck. I mean, there were certain spots in there where it got super dark too, until they would shine the light on it, and then it would light up. But when they were actually once they get to the tomb and they go down inside and they're walking around, some of those scenes were so dark, we actually had to stop the show, and we're like, I can't see anything that's going on.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's the other thing too. Your TV's in your basement. You can't like darken the room enough. It's just like there's enough light that comes in through the windows that still makes it.
Even at night, and that window faces east, there's still enough light coming in the evening when we were watching that we had to wait till it actually got a lot dimmer. And that when we dimmed all the lights in the basement, everything, trying to do it.
All right. Well, it's true. Like there are definitely shows that are harder to watch during the day just because of glare on televisions and stuff like that. So like there are times because I have a lamp that sits right opposite of my TV. And sometimes, most of the time it doesn't bother me, but there are times I'm like, fuck this, and turn off the light because it's like just so much easier to see and enjoy the film, or the show or whatever you're watching.
I will say overall, I didn't think it was a bad show.
I like it, yeah.
But I'm still not crazy about the fact that it's Moon Knight, and we've gotten almost no Moon Knight.
Right. I did like that they delved more into the relationship between Mark and Steven, about how that works with the two of them, and how it's like when one of them is in control of the body, he's got to voluntarily give it up to the other one, unless he gets knocked out, and then the other personality can take control. And
but see, that doesn't make sense because there have been times where they haven't voluntarily given control,
right? Well,
and
that's
the other
what
one
it is.
switches over.
It seems like now that he's aware of it, like now
it has to be voluntary.
It has to be voluntary. Before, Steven would fall asleep and Mark would take over, or whatever, and then. But then there were times where he would black out, exactly. And it's times of great stress. That's what happens, man. When it's somebody with dissociative identity disorder is under a lot of stress and freaks out, that's when they shift. And you haven't seen it yet. The next episode, it delves into a lot of flashbacks of Mark's early life. And you see where the personality splitting happens. And
okay, well, let's not get into that episode because I don't want to hear about that episode until
I know that you have your hatred of spoilers. So but it goes into that history, and there's a lot of history and stuff about it. So it's pretty cool. Well, how did the fourth episode end? I can't remember.
With them opening up the door and seeing
the hippo.
Yeah, what's her face? It starts with a T.
Tahumet or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Tawaret.
She's an Egyptian goddess, and she was great. She looked great because they talk to her and stuff. But yeah, I forgot. Okay, so he gets shot, and then he wakes up in episode 4.
Yeah,
he gets shot and he wakes up essentially in what looks like a mental ward.
Correct? Is that what it is?
Or hospital of some kind.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember how it actually starts. No, because it starts with them escaping in the desert. That's where it starts.
But you said you saw the episode 4, it ends where they open the door. He opens the two of them open the doors, and there's the hippo goddess. Right. Okay.
But that one started with them in the desert and then going to the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
and then going down into the tomb, and that thing that was clicking in the tomb was creepy.
Oh yeah, the mummies, essentially they were like these Egyptian kind of zombie type mummy kind of things.
And it sounded like they were using echolocation, the way that with the constant clicking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like how this is the first time we're honestly seeing, like, and we've talked about this before, the first time we were honestly seeing like magic in one of the shows, like real, like godly magic. Or this is the first time we're seeing real gods too, on one of the shows and stuff. Because previously we saw Thor, and in the movies and whatnot, but Thor is, I mean, they established that his guardians were not gods per se; they were aliens with extremely high technology,
and long lives.
Long lives, to the point where it looked like magic. And because that's what they've always said, any sufficiently advanced technology will look like magic to a lesser advanced species or lesser advanced civilization. So that's what the Asgardians looked like to us. So but now we're actually seeing actual pantheon of gods. So I think that's really fucking cool.
So I did like the scene where Steven kisses the woman, Mark's wife.
Yes.
And then she turns and walks away, and all of a sudden there's a zhut, and he punches himself in the face.
Yeah. You gotta appreciate the fact that at some level, like, the personalities, I mean, if pushed hard enough, they can exert some control. Well, like the time when Steven was trying to give the scarab back to Harrow, and he couldn't. His arm, his body kept betraying him and stuff like that. I really like.
Well, that was Khonshu too.
Yeah, it was Khonshu as well. But one of the things about what I'm really impressed about this show is Oscar Isaac's depiction of the character. He's doing a really good job depicting these two extremely different personalities. Like, I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's Layla, by the way.
Yeah, Layla
El Fawley. Yeah, I mean, just how impressive that is. The fact that they've acted, particularly in the episodes 4 and 5, where you see Oscar act against himself, because he acts as the two personalities, and they're actually speaking to each other. They're in the same, essentially able to interact with each other, and it's pretty fucking great. So I'm really excited to see the final episode of this show. Now they have stated that Oscar Isaac has not been contracted to come back again as Moon Knight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does, if he comes back in a movie, or if we see him again at some point in the future.
Well, so talking about, acting against yourself and things like that, and acting so differently, I do think he's doing well, but to me, the epitome of that is still Tatiana Maslany in Orphan Black, because she played so many different characters,
She played like a dozen or something.
And acted against herself in so many ways, so many different things, and every single character is so unique in the way they talk, their mannerisms. They are not the same in any way, and it's just amazing that she was able to keep all that straight.
Yeah, I am really I'm excited to watch that show. It's on my queue. I haven't watched it yet.
I still got to finish season 5, but it is an absolutely amazing show. I love it.
So yeah.
Sorry.
Moon Knight.
Yeah, but Moon Knight, again, I think it's a decent show. I don't think it's great. As far as the Marvel shows go, it's probably lowest on my list right now.
Really, lowest?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be hard pressed to put a staging, or a number listing on these, like, because I really enjoy it. I think this is really, really smart. Stella's really liking it a lot too.
I just don't think that it's a good I don't to call it Moon Knight, not have that character in it as much. It to me just it really bothers me. It's like it's almost bait and switch. It's like calling a show the Book of Boba Fett and not even having Boba Fett in a fucking episode, in one of the episodes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think this show. I think this season, this makes for a good origin season. If they were to immediately say Moon Knight season 1 part 2 coming in 3 months or whatever, and they had more of Mark Spector being Moon Knight and being Moon Knight, then I think it'd be a little more satisfied, and I think you would probably be too, because we're just seeing a lot of this. We're seeing his origin story essentially, and yeah, we're seeing a lot of him where we don't see him in the suit.
I also don't like that his weapons are gold, not silver.
They were gold in the comic for a while.
Were they?
For a while, everything was silver, and then he had a time where he reconnected more directly with Khonshu, because originally his origin in his
he was a werewolf hunter.
Well, he was originally a werewolf hunter, and then in his early kind of depiction where he talked about, well, I was shot and I was hurt and I passed out at the base of a statue of Khonshu, and there was a lot of kind of reference to the idea that maybe it was all a fever dream, that maybe it wasn't true, that he kind of just dreamed it, but for whatever reason too, initially his strength, he got stronger as the moon waxed full. Yeah. So at when the moon was fully full, he could lift well over 2 tons or something like that. When it was completely dark, he was like just a really strong, normal guy. But then later on, there in the storyline, he had a reconnection with Khonshu, and it was definitely, he was like, yeah, Khonshu's a thing, and really saved his life and whatever else. So then Moon Knight took on a bunch of ancient ceremonial weapons that were like the Egyptian axe, and a bunch of the throwing, the crescent throwing knives, and he had ones that looked like scarabs with their wings out and stuff like that. And then he also had some accoutrement on his costume. He had bracers and a belt and stuff that was all very ceremonial and was golden. So that's why I think they're seeing that. Yeah. So apparently too, and I didn't find this out. Apparently the original creator, the original writer, did not initially intend him to be Jewish, but he found out that the last name Spector is actually a Jewish name. So then he retroactively wrote in that his father was a rabbi, and that his mother was Middle Eastern or something like that, and his father was a rabbi.
Then he's not actually Jewish.
Correct. That's what I was saying. I was like, no, that means because you're Jewish if your mother's Jewish.
Right. It travels through the maternal line.
Right. Exactly. And but I guess the writer was still like, well, his father was a rabbi, and Mark left that life behind and kind of rejected more of a religious life. So because there was some criticism that they made that Oscar Isaac, being, I believe he's Hispanic, playing a Jewish character, and there's some people going, oh no, was Moon Knight really Jewish? Why was that? And then I read that the original creator, he wasn't, and then Stella actually looked it up, and she's like, no, the original creator actually did make him Jewish after he learned the origins of that name. So yeah, but like I said, you'll learn a little bit more of that in the next episode, where they kind of delve into his past a bit. But it's actually episode 5 is very powerful. Episode 6, which premieres tomorrow, they stated that it's actually the shortest of the finales of any of the the Marvel shows that have premiered
Really?
on Disney Plus this year.
Another disappointment.
It's only like 43 minutes or something like that, as opposed to the other ones that have been like well over an hour and stuff like that. So well, that's the thing. After this is over, we're gonna have a little break on the Marvel shows for a while. After this, we have the Obi-Wan show, and then after that is when I think we get into like I think in the first of the Hulu shows, which will be like She-Hulk or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's even till the fall.
Or it might be Ms. Marvel. I think Ms. Marvel is this summer.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel.
I think that's it.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel's this summer and She-Hulk's in the fall.
So Obi-Wan, then probably Ms. Marvel, and then She-Hulk's in the fall.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, for those of you guys who are interested, I did start a Twitter page this year, just this week. It has been an interesting.
Oh yeah, Ms. Marvel's
so
actually going to be out while Obi-Wan's on.
Oh, they're gonna cross it over. Huh?
First episode is June 8th.
Yeah. Okay. That's only like 2 weeks into Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
We're gonna be busy on our show because we're gonna be have to review both of them.
Yep. Sorry about that. So you were talking.
No, that's fine.
That you're on the Twattertons now.
I'm on the Twatterton now. I figured, I was just like, with all the attention that Elon Musk was getting for potentially for trying to purchase it, I was like, you know what? I've avoided Twitter for all this time. Let's see what's up. And so I started it. I'm Top Hat Russ, all one word. So if anybody wants to follow me or check it out, I haven't really tweeted a whole lot yet. I'm still kind of getting used to the app and figuring it out. It's been interesting though. I have been solicited now at least 3 times by fake porn star pages. Just like, hi, how are you? Fine, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
And I like to keep them going for a little while until they start to ask me for money, because then if they're trying to scam me, they're not scamming somebody else. I'm wasting their time basically. But I'm just kind of so at least since I started the other day, I've had at least 3 different fake either porn star or glamour model profiles follow me and then like talk to me. And a couple of them like were very good. Like obviously like they look really official, but no, this isn't official. There's no way that like a fairly successful porn star living in LA is going to be hitting up some random dude from Detroit for like whatever, for money, or for actually one of them was like, yeah, I sponsor like these orphanages or whatever, or I'm working with these orphanages. I'm like, an orphanage? Do they even call them that anymore? I thought they're like group homes or something. I was like, just like, and you can tell it's like, if they're not a bot, then they are definitely somebody that doesn't speak English as a first language. So this is kind of funny. But yeah, that has been an interesting couple of days. But I am following some really cool people. Like I just kind of went on my Instagram and I picked out like a dozen different people, and then that led to other suggestions. And like I'm following Tim Russ, the actor who played Tuvok on Voyager, and he's pretty cool. Following Will Wheaton and the entire cast of Critical Role, of course. And I'm following us, obviously. And but yeah, it's been an interesting kind of thing.
You mentioned the whole thing with Elon Musk buying it and stuff, and then there were a bunch of other things because he's supposed to like, oh hey CD, thanks, 8 months, resub. Hey, right on, cool. Resub. And yeah, he just screamed out, "Wheaton!" But when he bought that, somebody, and it looked like his account, but it wasn't. I don't think it was his account, because it was doing things like, now I'm gonna buy Doritos and fill the bags all the way up, and then there was one that was now I'm gonna buy McDonald's and fix all the ice cream machines, and he actually retweeted that one saying, "Hey, I can't work miracles."
All right. You know what? That's really cool. Honestly, in all honesty, the man can do what he wants with his money. You know, people are like, well, if he's going to do this, why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't he do that? He can do what he wants with his fucking money. It's his fucking money. Now, I mean, would it be great if Elon Musk took that $44 billion or whatever it was and put it to better use? Yeah, absolutely. I'd be thrilled. But I'm not going to condemn him for spending his money the way he wants to spend it. It's a free fucking country, man. And if he wants to do that, great. Would I rather he spend it to, improve our schools in various different, states? Would I love it if he actually just gave everybody 43 billion people, or well, no, let's say gave 400 and what it would be 430,000 people $1 million. Great, that'd be great. Please let me be one of those people, But
or he could give 1 million people $430,000.
Sure, great. It's but I'm not going to condemn the guy for it's his fucking money.
You give 43 billion people $1.
$1. There are not 43 billion people in the world, though. So, well, let's say there's 8 billion. There's 8 billion people in the world, right? So he could give every person in the world, eight times 4, 5, $5. He could give everybody in the world $5.
I was just looking to see in the U.S. Let's see. So there's
and still have 3 billion.
43.
I think there's like 350 million people in the country.
That's
so
million.
Far, roughly.
So that's billion. Divide by, it's 329.5 million.
329.5 million people in this country. So you could take that 43 billion and give everybody
$1,305.
Awesome. I could use that. I could use an extra grand.
Yeah, he could give everybody.
How much
in the
was
US,
it? 1,000. How much?
1,305.
I'd be happy to take an extra $1,300.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, so everyone in the U.S. could get $1,300.
Thanks, Elon. You're a big help. All right, we should wrap things up.
Yeah,
I gotta get something to eat. I've got to run out, run an errand now. So, yeah, a friend of mine needs to borrow some spirit gum.
I was just gonna say, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. You're gonna run an errand?
My friend Holly needs to borrow some spirit gum for the weekend. She's flying out at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna run it over to her at Royal Oak. So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight on a very special episode of Nerds with Alcohol. It's number 274. So next week, 275. It's kind of a milestone. Be sure to
counting down to 300, which is going to be right around our 6-year anniversary too.
Yeah, holy shit! It's crazy that we've been doing this for that long. Check us out at all the places you can find quality podcasting, guys. We are on Spotify. We are on the Google Play Store. We're on iTunes. We are on the Odyssey app. We are on Stitcher, and we are on. What did I miss?
I don't know. I can't keep. We're pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts.
We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
We're in all the things.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio. So yeah, check us out, guys. We're here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Usually from 8 o'clock to about 9:30 or 10, depending on what we are going to be talking about. Get out there and vote, everybody. It's a very important. The midterm elections are going to be important, and if you can't vote, get out there and express your until you can vote, get out there and express your opinions, and go to the protests, go to these rallies, go to all these things. We can't have Roe v. Wade be reversed. It was
yes, CD. Vote in the primaries too.
vote in the primaries, because it is a huge step backwards. And thank you for all the support. We love you guys, and really keep listening, because we need you.
And remember, you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds, YouTube Drinking Nerds, Twitch Drinking Nerds, online drinkingnerds.com, which will take you right to nerdswithalcoholshow.com. But yeah, we're all over the place there too. But yes, please keep listening, keep watching, keep hanging out with us. If you can, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks again, CD, for the subscription tonight. 8 months, man, that's incredible. And then I'm trying to still work on getting more things set up. I've got my new stream deck now, so hopefully we can do a few more. I can do a few crazy things. We'll see how it works.
I still need you to come over here and show me how to set that shit up, so we can start doing some stuff over here.
So, keep in touch. Remember, if you are a subscriber, you can also get into the Discord channel and hang out with us in there and talk shit.
Talk all kinds of shit.
Thanks, CD. CD says he loves the move to Twitch. Obviously, that we moved to Twitch. So.
From when we were just on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, we weren't on YouTube. We were just on audio.
Oh, just on audio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah. All right. Well, I think on that note.
On that note.
Until next time. Sláinte.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.